and this is Zeroqode Series 1.1. We're going to be exploring this new format today after the blast of a conversation and a blast of a conference that we had last month, where we were doing kind of like a big bang event with a lot of people, like talking for quite some time and introducing like all the different topics in one day, and then second day. Definitely this format has a lot of advantages, but it's not always that you have the time and luxury of, spending 2 evenings in a row, listening to amazing people, but still, we're all in a rush these days somewhere. So we at Zeroqode had decided to explore the new format to bring you guys even more value in a much more condensed format. And plus, regardless of how big the event is, you can't always cover all the awesome people and even, and all the awesome topics from all the awesome people, regardless of how big the event is going to be. So we decided to launch the mini series that's going to be exploring the new ways to bring you guys value in 15 to 20 minutes conversation. And same format, you're welcome to ask questions. You're welcome to suggest topics for discussion for me or for our guests specifically. And today we're going to be having a conversation with 3 amazing speakers. And I can't wait to start introducing you to them. Number 1 on our list is the absolute star of our last show, Doc Williams. Doc is the CEO and the founder of Brand Factory. And his bio is definitely too long for this format of the series. But just to give you a glimpse of that, Doc has been an ESPN journalist, and he started a parkour gym in which SWAT teams were actually training and the American Ninja warriors were training. And then, Doc was here to share with us all his experience and passion about how do you build a brand, create your own, find the voice, and just broadcast that to your clients. Doc, welcome. It's great to have you here. It was absolutely a blast having you on the bigger Zeroqode conference, and we can't wait to hear what you have to share with the folks today. So the show is yours, and thank you for being with us.
Well, thanks so much for having me. This has been awesome. I can't wait. So again, everyone, let us know your questions and all of those things. I'd love to hear from you all. This is going to be awesome. So I've been invited here to talk about building your brand. Now, what is a brand and what are all these words? What does this even mean? Well, I would say it's the essence of basically how you want to be perceived in the world. Everyone has different skills. Everyone has different talents, but how do you want to be perceived? Just a moment ago, we were talking about my bio. Those are a few things, but did you know also I was a crime scene cleaner, and also I was a drone pilot for a little while. Those things are okay, but for the most part, people don't really care. It's like, yeah, Doc, like that's great, but like, how can you help me with no code? The same thing with you. In your experience, you might have a wealth of experience. You are from all different types of backgrounds, but how can you shape your narrative that will align with what you're trying to do? Now, I'm going to give you the formula, how you're going to be building your brand, and we're going to be talking about some of the biggest brands, how they do this over and over again, and how you can be doing this in your brand as well. But I wanted to let you know that you can do this no matter where you are in your journey of no code. If you're just getting started and you're different, you're in a different industry and you're just trying this out to learn, or maybe you're making a side hustle, or maybe you're trying to be you're an industry expert and now you're trying to move into no code as well. Wherever you're at, this is for you, because this is all about your own unique abilities. So we're going to look at this for a moment. I'm going to first share my screen for a moment. And I've got a lot of different monitors, so forgive me, I'm switching over here. You'll see. Okay, here you go. Building your brand. Okay, so right here, as we're looking at this, building your brand, it really comes down to your skill plus value, and that equals engagement, and that's going to get you to where you want to go. That's the main thing. You've got to first think about, what is your skill? What do you have right now that makes you unique? Is it perhaps that you're a great project manager, you're great on concepts in design, you're just a great developer? What makes you unique? Now, the next part is the value. Not what you value, but what other people are trying to get to. What do they value? And if you have those two things, you're going to find the engagement. Now, I know what you're going to say, like, Doc, like, yeah, I can't believe you're on this thing. I already knew all those things. Okay, well, let's try to put it into practice. And we're going to look at how you can do this. And I was thinking, what's the best example? How can we do this? How can people relate? What would you like? Well, I was thinking about what would be the best thing. And the best thing I could think of was Star Wars. The best thing I think of a story arc, everyone can do this. In Star Wars, to Lord of the Rings, to how business happens with Tesla, everyone does the same exact rotation over and over and over and over and over again. Okay? You've got to be on the path for people to care about you. You've got to have a story. And if you have a story, people will care and people will understand your brand, and you can go from there. So what I have down below, you can see it starts from the beginning, the start of the journey, all the way to the climax, and then going back down to FOMO and what you're going to be doing next. Now, you can say, and I want to hear this in the chat, please let me know. If anyone wants to say, like, I see this, Doc, but I want you to go through what would I do? Write it in now. Write it in now, because in the Q&A, we're going to go through a couple examples if anyone wants to talk about it. I'm going to go through one just very briefly. This is the story arc of pretty much any trilogy, right? Doesn't matter if you're into Batman, if you're going to be looking at Star Wars, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. You're going to first start at the beginning, and that introduces the problem. For you, you're going to be solving a problem of maybe yourself or one of your colleagues, or, you know, a Reddit group or a Facebook group. It doesn't really matter. We're dropping in at the beginning of who you're going to help, right? You have a problem. Who are you going to help? Now, as you're going up, it's not anything that you have to worry about overthinking it. The passive branding is just being helpful and educational. There's no hard sells here. Like, you really don't have to go about trying to think about how can I make money off of these people. Just be helpful and put out content. Now, that's easier said than done. Some people will say, well, I don't have the right setup. I don't like the sound of my voice. I don't have the right video equipment. Just think about what's the easiest thing that you can possibly do. Okay, if you like just talking, all right, just start recording yourself, audio style. Put it out as a podcast. Like, just take your phone. I don't care if you don't have the right mic. I don't care about, just record yourself and start putting it out. And remember, focusing on what people are having the problem, your own itch or someone that you're dealing with. The other thing is, perhaps if you like video, you don't like writing, and you just want to, randomly talk, do that too. Whatever you want. And that is as you're going up the mountain to solving the problem. Now, right here is the exclusive content. That doesn't mean that it's necessarily paid. Exclusive content can be just like what we're on right now, right? This is Zeroqode series, where this is exclusive content. And I see all of you that's here. We've got 40 plus people just popping up right now. This is really good. People are taking the time. You've gone off of social media, seen all the posts, and now you're here. So this is exclusive, right? Now, the next part after you're there, you're going to get that exclusive content. And then the third part is creating the FOMO, fear of missing out. You're going to do a pitch. You're going to give them or invite them to consume more content, to be somewhere where they can maybe have your training, do something. But you're going around and around, and you're down here, you're adding more value. You're finding out what's going on with them, and then you're selling. Now, you could be selling them to just opt in to an email list. You could be selling them into your program. It doesn't really matter, but you're having them at least exchange some kind of currency that they value you. Exchanging currency, that can just be their time, and time is valuable. So it really just depends on what you're doing. Now, as we're going through this, every single person that's watching this is going to be framing this a little bit different. And that's what I'm saying. In the chat, let us know in the comments, because I want to hear about what you're trying to do. But every single marketing, every single thing that you're doing comes back to here. Now, you might be asking, but I thought we were learning about branding. I thought you were going to talk about colors and, where you do. It doesn't matter. What matters is people remembering you, that you have a story, that people engage with you. That is the key of building that brand. That's it. Nothing else matters. And as you're going through this, guess what? You might not get it right the first time. This might take a couple times. You might have to go up the mountain a couple times to figure out where people are engaging with you. But this is the formula over and over again. I'm going to give you some examples and we'll go through this, right? So there's the mountain. Let me know in the comments what we got on the mountains, chat, all that kind of stuff. I'm expecting to hear a lot from the chat, so can't wait. Can't wait. And I see Rick from Texas. Thanks so much for being here. Vlad, you're talking about where do we start? Listen, you start at the bottom. We'll go through this. Don't worry about it. I got you, man. So we're going right here. And this is where we're going to start. One storyline, 3 Ps, time action equal narrative. So Vlad, you're right here. Let's talk about it real quick. Is it all right? Can we talk right now, or should we not talk until the end?
We're absolutely fine to talk right now. You're the boss, Doc.
Okay. So yeah. So let's talk about this. You're talking about where to start. Let's start at the bottom, right? So a lot of people talk about where should they begin with their branding. I would start with what do they want to be known for and where do they want to go, right? Vlad, does that make sense? Do you see stuff in the chat that people are saying where they're beginning? I saw a little bit, but I missed some.
Totally, yeah. I think this is the biggest kind of an issue. And I would actually add on top of that, one question that I'm sure is in people's head, but not necessarily in the chat right now. I mean, it sounds almost too easy when you talk about this, right? Because you have such a, a flamboyant personality. You kind of like, almost, this room and this chat and this conference is full of energy just because of you being here. So what about people that don't necessarily, perceive themselves as people with such a, a large charisma, or so to say? So where do they start? What if people don't really feel like, confident enough being in front of the camera, in front of the microphone, or otherwise, putting themselves out there, which is like the first step you need to take to put your brand out there, put your name out there. So what would be the suggestion for those kind of people to get started?
That is such a good question. What I would start, you got to be comfortable, and you've got to be comfortable and go for an area that's supportive. So even if you're not ready to go online, write down 1 to 3 people that you would be comfortable with to share those ideas. So you just get used to sharing. So even though, eventually it should be online for more people to get it. If it's, man, I'm not sure, I'm just not ready to put my ideas. Make sure that it's a comfortable space. Pick a couple colleagues or someone that's in your industry that you want to share with, or even if it's a friend, family member, whatever makes you comfortable, that makes you keep going, do that first. That's a really good question. I think that I would start there. And then what I would do, I would ask them, do they have this problem, or do they know someone that has this problem? And if they do know someone, or it's them, could you talk to them and just explain your ideas or explain what you're good at to solve a problem? So even if it's like a one-on-one instead of a one-to-many, just practicing explaining what you do. Or even if you're too shy and you're like, you know what, I don't want to even do that. What about just sharing your screen? You don't have to show your face. You're just showing what you're good at and focus on your expertise. Yeah. Hopefully that helps. Chat, let me know.
Gentleman advice. Yeah, totally. Actually, to support that, for anyone wondering, I've definitely, and for the people who are still on the fence about putting themselves out there, I would totally recommend going on YouTube. And first of all, checking Doc Williams' YouTube channel. I mean, he is the absolute star, and he will be, just by seeing a couple of his videos, which are, by the way, really short and concise, no fluff, that will definitely give you the impulse necessary to get yourself started. But while you're at it, I mean, check out some of the videos of famous YouTubers and bloggers and musicians just getting started. I mean, their first content is so bad, you wouldn't believe it just took them this much time to get from where they were there to where they are right now. I mean, and I guess that the secret that the doc is also articulating is that start somewhere. It doesn't matter if it's one person or yourself in front of the mirror. I guess like getting started and getting and sucking at it first is like essential to be like great at this at some point.
Oh yeah. My first ones are really bad. I'll show you a picture. Maybe I'll do a video about it. But I was wearing a ridiculous hat. I was standing by a bookshelf because I was like, books will make me look smart. I will do this, and it was so stupid. It was so bad. but it's all right. Everyone has their first couple of videos. It's just training. It's just like exercising. You gotta get into a rhythm of just trying it out. And I heard this one time, and it was a motivational speaker about fitness, and I like to bring it in here because what he was saying was a lot of time his clients that haven't been exercising for years, decades at a time, a lot of times, why were they discouraged? They were just told to go into the gym, start working out, do this, whatever. His idea was, why don't you just get a gym membership? Don't go in, don't worry about it. Then the next time, don't go in yet. The next time you go to the gym, just stay in the parking lot. Next time, just go in, do a lap around the place, walk out. Next time, sit on the bike. And that I really think can work with branding, that as long as you're just doing smaller steps and you're just trying things out, it's so much, you've already broken through the wall of so many people that just won't even try it out, that you're going to succeed. Now, the idea is trying to find out the right kind of content that matches you. That's going to take some time and mix and matching. But the more that you do it, you know who tells you if you're doing a good job or they like your content? Your audience is going to be like, oh, I like what you did right there, or I like this kind of video. All you do is write it down, then you do more of those videos. I thought I would have to do really more generic videos, and I didn't understand. Most of my clients, when I had my agency and that was my main focus, my clients would always tell me, I'd be like, hey, let's meet at the end of the month, because that's what you do as an agency. You always think that the client wants to meet you. And they're like, no, I just rather have you just send the videos because I like your videos and your walkthroughs. I didn't even think of that for a year and a half. I didn't think that was content that I should be putting out. And so that all the content that you see is usually very similar to exactly how I'd send the agency or the ones I was working with. So for you with your branding, start off small. Think about what you love to do, and then go from there. I have one quick story, and then questions, anything, Vlad, you just tell me. But just to give you an idea, I worked with one influencer, and she wanted to be an Instagram model, all of these things, right? And I was like, okay, yeah, that's great, but how much are you getting paid? Like, what are you trying to do? And she's like, I want to get sponsorships and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, like everyone else. I'm like, so what's your background? Like, tell me something interesting. She's like, well, I'm not sure if it's interesting. I live in Toronto and I'm a stunt woman. I was like, what? You're a stunt woman? She's like, yeah. And I help elderly folks to be safe in their home. I teach them how to fall. I teach them how to get up because I'm a stunt woman. I'm like, that's the best storyline ever. I'm like, are you serious? She started putting those videos up, and that's how she started growing her brand. At first, she thought she just had to be cute, be in a bikini, do all these things. She was missing the point of her unique abilities and her unique voice. So I know in the no-code community, there's so many people with so many diverse backgrounds. Really lean in, tell your story, see how you can help people, and that's going to lead you to the right way to go for your business. So, yeah, Vlad, you tell me what time check. I think I'm on time, but you tell me if I questions or what you want to do.
You are, Doc. Absolutely on time and right on spot with a question. So thank you. One last one for me to kind of wrap it up. So, what do you think would be, like, speaking specifically about the no-code space, right? Because it's ever expanding and it's growing, faster than ever. What do you think would be the biggest opportunities to kind of put yourself out there? What kind of brands do you think would be catching the most attention, would be the most valuable and most wanted in that space? Obviously, there's like a bunch of them, but what would be the top three that you would kind of identify on top of your head right now if you would be asked, like you are asked?
So, yeah. So if I was trying to do that, I would really be a brand that you're trying to educate and showing your own expertise. There's so many different types of no-code platforms. I honestly think if you gravitate to a certain platform and you're using the platform a certain way, automation, you're really good at mockups, you're really good at workflows, pick a style of what you're going to be known for in the no-code community and double down, start putting out content or show examples. Go out there, see what's going on, see what people are asking questions on. And if your expertise can solve it, Don't charge. Don't charge. Just make a tutorial. Just go guns blazing and make the ultimate guide how to solve that problem. People will know you for that. You'll be like that. Like Sacco's coming up. Like I know Sacco. Guess what? I know he's all about Webflow. Like I don't even have to think. I'm like, oh yeah, Civilization 4. Like he's right there. And so doing projects like that, you will become the master if you just delve in and really double down on what you love to do anyway. Hopefully that helps.
Absolutely. Doc, thank you. That was amazing. We actually have a few more great questions in the comments, but that's all we have time for at the moment, unfortunately. But please do check out Doc's YouTube channel. He's really big on YouTube. Talk with Doc on Twitter and check out his website for his agency at brandfactorinc.com. Doc, as usual, you are absolutely amazing. It's great to have you here. Thank you for being with us, and I'm sure and hope that people will reach out and with more questions. And you're always ready to help. So I'm sure that's going to be great, even after this conversation as well. Thank you for being with us. And yeah, it was a blast as usual.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You guys are doing a great job. I love this, just everything, this platform. I love this community. Sacco, I see you in the chat. So again, thank you so much, guys. And I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.